Hi everyone, my name is Haley Abramson. I'm a PhD student at Johns Hopkins University representing a stellar team of engineers and clinicians, and I'm very excited to share with you our idea and progress on a hands-free device that will bring ultrasound imaging into everyday patient diagnosis, specifically early detection of deep vein thrombosis. We call it Hocus Pocus. DVT is a development of a clot in the deep veins of the lower limb. We are focusing on DVT because of its high prevalence and fatality rate in post-surgery patients, though unfortunately it may develop during any prolonged period of stasis, such as a long airplane ride. In the US, about 900,000 people experience DVT every year, and of those, 100,000 die, usually of pulmonary embolism, which is when the clot detaches from the deep veins and moves to the lungs. We believe we can decrease the death rate. Our device will be placed on a patient's lower limb to perform continuous monitoring and early detection of DVT without the need for expert manual guidance. The technology is based on ultrasound imaging, which uses sound waves transmitted into and received from the body to visually display different tissue types. Ultrasound is already found in nearly all medical fields, in part because it is relatively inexpensive, non-ionizing, and provides a view into the body in real time. In the intensive care unit, ultrasound is already the standard method for diagnosing DVT via a compression test. I'm showing two videos of these tests here. On the left, you can see that normal venous walls are not very muscular, so they compress completely if there isn't a clot. On the right side, though, this patient has a clot that blocks compression, indicating DVT. Doppler ultrasound, which measures blood velocity, can also be used in detection and diagnosis. While the physiological changes in blood flow that occur as the clot develops are not fully known, we predict that slower flows and more turbulent flows may indicate clot formation, which Doppler imaging can also help identify. I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Aliaksei Pustavoitau, an associate professor of anesthesiology and critical care medicine at Johns Hopkins, with whom I work closely in developing this project. He'll share with you the impact this device could have from his perspective as a clinician.
Patients are dying because they are not being routinely and frequently checked for DVT. With the wearable devices, we could assess patients on a continuous basis, unlike traditional methods that just provide a snapshot. A wearable device to perform early detection of DVT would save many lives, and I can see it being just part of the routine physical exam of each patient.
Our device is a modified commercial ultrasound probe. Because the probe's electronics are already approved for distribution, our device could be swiftly incorporated into the clinic. No hands-free ultrasound probe exists on the market, and the few ultrasound patches that some labs are working on, although perhaps more flexible than ours, cannot perform both grayscale and Doppler imaging as with our probe. To construct our device, we encase the electronics in silicone rubber, and it rests without manual intervention on a phantom, which mimics the acoustic properties of blood as it flows through human tissue. The parameters of the transducer are programmed in MATLAB by connecting the device to a research ultrasound machine known as Verisonics. In order to prove that our device can perform early prediction of DVT, we demonstrate its ability to accurately acquire blood velocity data within clinical error bounds, to measure fluctuating or turbulent flow, and to collect data on a time span of hours. Each of these experiments were performed using the tissue phantom and cardiac flow pump. Here we compared the velocities detected by our flexible probe and a probe from the Philips clinical ultrasound machine to a flow sensor that served as our ground truth and was connected to our cardiac flow pump. Clearly, the velocities captured by our probe fall within the error bounds of a clinical machine. This remains true as we change parameters on the clinical machine that may affect the velocity detected, such as the steering angle. Next, we show that our probe is able to detect fluctuations in blood velocity that happen over short periods of time. As with many cardiac devices, we care most about the degree of fluctuation. Although the exact velocity values may be different here, we have already shown that we fall within clinically accepted error bounds, and as you can see, the ratio of maximum to minimum velocities detected is approximately equal for the ground truth and our flexible probe. Here, we demonstrate that our probe is capable of long-term patient monitoring. Although there are material and coding developments in the works, we intend to be able to continuously monitor patients on a time span of hours to days. Thank you for listening about Hocus Pocus. I would like to wish the best of luck to all participants, and I look forward to sharing more in person. Thank you.